Good morning, everyone. So my name is Ulysses Vega. I'm actually a licensed real estate broker and part of NAREP, which is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. I was a chapter president, and I'm also a NAREP 10 certified trainer. And we get an offer accepted, and we hear the phrase, "We're about to open escrow." What does that mean? If I'm a first-time buyer, I have no idea what it means to open escrow. And what open escrow means is you got an offer accepted, the seller liked your offer, and now the process of buying a home starts officially. Usually the life of an escrow, or the period of an escrow, usually give and take is about 30 to 45 days. During those 30 to 45 days, a lot of things are gonna happen. It's like putting a puzzle of about 1,000 pieces. And that's why who you work with is gonna be the difference between you taking your transaction to the finish line or having hiccups and potentially that deal falling apart. So who you work with matters, from lenders to credit repair to real estate agents. Another thing, obviously our mission when it comes to real estate, me being in real estate for 18 years, is getting our clients into contract. If I'm representing a seller, I wanna make sure that I maximize my seller's equity and get as much money as possible for that house. If I'm representing a first-time buyer, it's getting them into a home and negotiate the best terms and get them the best house with the least amount of problems, least amount of headaches, and negotiate and give them the best real estate experience of their lives. But now, what is next? During the first 10 days of an escrow is do a home inspection. Why is the home inspection important? Can somebody tell me? There's no wrong answers, by the way. This is for all of you to understand the process. So the importance of doing a home inspection is you want to find out the condition of the home. It's like buying a used car with 80,000 miles. You want to make sure that there's no engine, there's no transmission. How's the roof? How's the electrical? How's the plumbing? Do we have foundation issues? Does the AC work? You don't want to find out after you moved that now you have to buy a new roof that's going to cost you $17,000. A lot of times I've seen in my career where clients tell me, Ulysses, I don't think I need a home inspection. My cousin Jose is gonna check the house for me. You don't want to not invest $300 to $600 and later on find out that you could have negotiated that $15,000 roof. Because once we close escrow and the deal is done, you inherit the owner's issues. So during the first 10 days, you're gonna do your home inspection, you're gonna do termite inspections and any inspections whatsoever. Another thing, appraisal. A lot of times we get confused with home inspection and appraisal. Does anybody know what an appraisal is? An appraisal is the value of a home, because a lender like ARA is gonna lend us based on what the house is worth. Example, if we put an offer on a house at $600,000, but the appraisal comes back at $570, we're only gonna get a loan for $570, which means that now your real estate agents have to negotiate the difference. That $30,000 gap, now your realtors are gonna have to negotiate. So home inspection is a report that's gonna tell us the condition of the home. Appraisal is gonna tell us what the value of that house is at that particular day. Two separate things. And who pays for the appraisal? Does anybody know that? The buyer. Directly through the lender, and the lender hires a third-party company. And usually the appraisal, don't quote me, Ara, is it around $700, $800, give and take?
No, it's $550.
$550. We already got a discount of $150. Home inspections, the fee depends on the size of the home. If we're talking 2-story, 3,000 square feet, it's gonna be more than a 1,300 square foot home, single story. So home inspections usually are anywhere between $375 to $600, again, depending on the size. Another thing, during your first 17 days of being in escrow, the agent that's representing the seller is gonna provide the buyer's agent some documents that are called disclosures. And those disclosures are gonna tell us everything that the seller has disclosed about the house. Is there a roof leak? Was there mold? You know, did they have some AC that didn't work and they repaired it? Those are disclosures that have to be reviewed by the buyers and the agents so that you make an informative decision whether to move forward with the purchase, negotiate repairs, negotiate a lower price, or unfortunately, if we cannot come to an understanding, we got to back out of the deal and start all over. Now, if we, for some reason, have to start all over, there's a few things that unfortunately are not going to be non-refundable. A home inspection fee, because we hired a third party home inspector, and the appraisal. Those are non-refundable. Another thing that is important towards the end of the transaction is doing a final walkthrough. A final walkthrough, you usually want to do it 2 to 4 days before you sign loan documents. So just about getting close to the finish line, your buyers are ready to go. They're ready to sign loan documents in front of a notary. 2-3 days before that happens, your realtors are going to take you to the house that you're about to purchase and do a final walkthrough to make sure that it's in the same condition as when you saw it. Why is that important? Let's say the AC unit has been stolen, or there's broken windows. You closed escrow, and unfortunately, again, you inherit those issues. If something happens and you do a final walkthrough and you find out that that chandelier that you fell in love with prior to putting an offer is no longer there, your realtors are going to call the other agent and say, hey, what happened to that chandelier that was in the living room? Hey, what happened to that AC unit that's missing? Hey, what happened to the 3 windows that are broken? This is when you want to find out that it's exactly in the same condition as when you first saw it. Another thing, things not to do when purchasing a home. And Luz mentioned a few things, but you don't want to buy that new car or that new furniture for the house before you buy the house, because that would lower your credit and your debt to income ratio will go higher, and that might prevent you from buying the house. Don't max out your credit cards. Luz mentioned, if you have a credit card of $1,000, make sure that you owe approximately $300 or less, 30%, that threshold. Don't max out your credit cards. Don't switch jobs in the middle of an escrow. In 18 years, I've seen so many people switch jobs, and worse yet, switch industries. You go from a truck driver to a nurse. Now you gotta wait 2 years of job history. You will not be able to get the house. Another thing, don't make large cash deposits, because your lender is gonna wanna know where that money came from. If you tell your lender or your realtor, I sold my car, they're gonna wanna see a bill of sale. So don't make large cash deposits that don't have anything to do with direct deposit checks. Here's another one, and some of you guys might be like, are you serious? You've seen that? Yes. Don't get into a divorce in the middle of purchasing a house. If things are going a bit south, purchasing a house may not make things easier. Also, buyer occupancy during the purchase. If you're buying a home and you're a first-time buyer and you're buying with an FHA loan, it requires the buyer to be owner-occupant. So in other words, if you're going to use an FHA loan, don't think that you're going to get away with renting it out, because the lender has the right to verify occupancy, and that could be considered potential fraud. Last but not least, any questions about the whole getting into escrow? Like, I wanted to kind of condense the presentation into about 2-3 minutes. Any questions that you guys may have? Yes?
If escrow doesn't go through, does it affect your credit as far as the next purchase? Or
No, but obviously the deposit, there's a contingency period that you can back out without putting your deposit in jeopardy. Usually it's 17 days or whatever's negotiated on the offer.
your deposit meaning your down payment?
No, deposit it's called good faith earnest deposit. So example, if you're purchasing a house at $600,000, usually your deposit should be about 1% or $6,000.
Okay.
And that deposit is part of your down payment. Great question, by the way. Because a lot of times people ask me, do I need a deposit of $6,000 plus my 3.5% down? I don't have that. No, the deposit is part of your down payment. And then the rest, you make sure that you wire it to escrow prior to closing.
So you go back down from any escrow?
Within the first 17
Not
days.
affecting your credit?
Correct. But if you back out, let's say 3-4 days before escrow closes, and all contingencies have been removed because you realize that you don't like the color blue, I've seen it. Your deposit might be on the line, and the seller might want to fight it because they're going to say, we gave up 5 other offers and 3 of them were cash because we believed in you, and now I can't buy my house in Arizona, and we want to keep your deposit. So always talk to your real estate agents, and again, that's when it's important to work with somebody that's full-time and knowledgeable like these ladies. They're never going to put your deposit on the line. So who you work with matters. Any questions? Let me know. You guys can follow me on social media, the Vega team. Any questions? I'm a real estate broker, but I'm here to support these ladies, so I'm part of their team. Thank you, everybody.